Hi guys, welcome back to John's workshop, and in this video, and probably, well, hopefully we'll try and get it all done in one video, we'll see how we get on. We're going to attempt to make a steel tongue drum. So this is a musical instrument, it's a percussion instrument, and anybody who's musically minded or done anything to do with music will understand what that means. But largely a percussion instrument is something that you hit to make it work. You hit it with either beaters or with your fingers or whatever, so that's what a percussion instrument is. So and I've tried my best to try and draw this, and no, that's not a spaceship, and no, it's not Stewie out of Family Guy, despite the fact that's what I thought I was going to draw when I started. So largely this is a it's a pan, for want of a better word, that's joined together. It's got steel tongues cut into it, but obviously with a section that's not cut, if you like. And I know you can't see this, but if anybody, and I'm sure everybody's done this at school, when you stick the steel rule over the edge of the bench or the desk and you do that with it, that is the principle that this works on. And obviously as you make the steel rule shorter, or the rule shorter, whatever you were using, the pitch of the note goes up, because the harmonics and the vibration, the frequency gets higher based on the length of the note. So largely that's how these things work. So how are we going to make this? So these things are commercially available, you can buy them. People make them out of gas cylinders and things like that. I don't have any gas cylinders kicking around, so I was looking at other ways we can do this, and you'll have seen it in my last video hopefully. So we've bought two dirt cheap woks. So these are steel, they're mild steel I believe, or some kind of steel anyway. So largely we're going to pop the handles off. We're going to do a lot of work on them to start with. So the surface finish on these have been spun by the looks of it, so you can see where the spinning lines are, where they've been spun to shape. So we're going to do some clean up on the outside, certainly of the top piece. We're then going to cut the notes into the top piece roughly, not tune them. We're then going to stick these two things together, and this is where I fear that it's all going to go wrong. We're going to attempt to weld these together. Now these are about 1mm thick steel. My cheap and nasty MIG welder, I don't know quite how this is going to cope with this thin steel, and obviously I need to get all the way around the periphery and weld that together. So that's going to be not only a challenge, probably quite interesting and funny to watch. So we're going to weld it together, and then once we've got it welded, then there's a lot of fine tuning to do, which I'll show you bits of that, not all of it, because I've got a feeling there's quite some hours work to do, and that's just done by basically lengthening the slots with a hacksaw blade and checking it, lengthen, check, so very iterative. And when you change one on one side, it will slightly affect what's going on the other side, so there's lots of balancing to do as you go around tuning it. So we're going to have a go at that and see how we get on. Why am I doing it? Just because I fancied it, something a little bit different, and something to blend a bit of musical and a bit of engineering, and just something a bit different. And when we're finished, we'll try and do some interesting, and go and have a Google. There's a process called hydro dipping. We're probably going to have a crack at hydro dipping in terms of a finish, because I want to try that on this, and if it's successful on this, it opens up possibilities for me doing other things in the future. So we may have a go at that, or we may just be using some rattle cans and spraying this when we're finished, whatever. So we'll get there when we get there. So lots of waffling. I'll join you at the welding bench just shortly when we start making an utter mess. Alright guys, we're done with welding, grinding, everything else for now. I think that's going to be good enough to go into the next piece, which is going to be prep, base coat, primer, 2 coats of that, top coat paint, and then hydro dipping. And because of that, each one of these notes, as we add weight to it or mass to it with paint, layers of paint, and also once it's hydro dipped, it's then going to get a clear coat on top of it. So all of those coats are going to add mass to these notes. So therefore what I've done is gone, and I'm guessing that this is all guesswork, as I said, you know, I'm just totally guessing with this. I've gone at least 1 full tone higher than where I want to finish up, because I know these are going to drop when it's painted, and then the final tuning will be post paint using a pad saw with a hacksaw blade in, and just bring the notes down to where they need to be. Well, that's the plan. So, the conclusion. Can you make a tongue drum out of 2 woks? Well, I've certainly made something that looks like a tongue drum with my own style added to it. I've tuned it as best I can, so if I just run up the scale, I'll try. That's the lowest note. I'm not sure how well my camera's going to pick these notes up, but we'll give it a go. Then I'm quite struggling here. I really need to be sat on the floor so that this doesn't drop, so I'm having to kind of cradle it best I can. So I don't know whether you can hear this or not. There we go. One tongue drum. And for my regular viewers, we will be getting back to something a little bit more normal next week. So I hope you've all enjoyed that. This may feature in a future video in conjunction with some other musical instruments that I've got kicking around in the house. So we may have a go at doing something with that at some point in the future, once I've learned a little bit more how to get on with the thing and I'm in a more comfortable playing position. So there we go, there is our wok tongue drum. So I hope you've all enjoyed that, something very different from my usual stuff. And thank you to the subscribers, thank you to the new subscribers, thank you to those that I may have just lost, and we will catch you all very soon on another video when we'll be making something else.